Well, welcome to the Botanical Medicine Study course and this current edition of Herb of the Week. I'm your host and instructor, Stephanie Georgieff. As this is my birthday week, I'm having reflections on getting older, which includes certain systems not working like they used to. But never fear, Chinese medicine is here. So for this week's Herb of the Week, we'll be exploring a plant that has thousands of years of use in China, Japan, and India, and has become quite popular in North America and Europe in the last decade or so, and that is goji berries. Now, goji berries, originating in Asia, and they really didn't become popular in the United States or Europe until the early 2000s. But following their introduction into the health food market, they're now considered a superfood. And I personally say, this is just my reflection, that goji berries are the oat bran of the first decade of the new millennium. Now, goji berries are also known as wolf berries, and it's this fruit of either Lycium barbarum or Lycium chinenza. And obviously, chinenza is saying that this plant comes from China. Now, these are two closely related species of boxthorn in the nightshade family of Solanaceae. And if you look at the Latin, if you're buying them bulk or in any type of supplement, you can get one or both of these in the supplement. If unless you're an amazing botany expert, you really won't notice it in the final product, and they have basically exactly the same properties for both. They're a little bit different in taste and sugar content, and there are black varieties that are available in China and India, but I've yet to see them in Europe or North America. And most of the medicinal properties as well as products are related to these two species, so you're good to go with those. Now, goji berries are used in Ayurveda, uh, but they're also used in traditional Chinese medicine, also known as TCM, and Japanese medicine. And I'm just going to focus on the TCM use because TCM and Ayurveda are closely related. Ayurveda is actually considered the mother of traditional Chinese medicine, but there are certain differences between the two that just confuse me in my advanced age. So unless I've really used them in an Ayurvedic way, I'm just going to focus on TCM. Now, goji berries are also known as gochitsi in TCM, and they come from the class of herbs that nourish the blood. There's different categories of herbs that are used concerning whatever type of therapeutic use you want to use them in. And this is a class of herbs that is called nourishing the blood. Now, there are several different fluids in Chinese medicine, blood, phlegm, and jin, to mention a few. And blood is considered therapeutically a bit different than blood in modern medicine. Blood deficiency isn't even really a term in Western medicine. Usually, what we're looking for in blood work in Western medicine is things like sugar, iron, your red blood cell count, your white blood cell count, cholesterol, fat, things like that. And in Chinese medicine, the way blood is considered is more through symptoms and what the blood does in Chinese medical theory. Um, and there's also the way that we look at blood in Chinese medicine is what it does for certain organs. And a big one, big therapeutic category is blood deficiency or liver blood deficiency in Chinese medicine. And for these symptoms, Goji Chi is definitely your go-to herb for such issues. And we'll talk at length about those. But as always, if you're on any type of prescription medication from your physician or physician assistant or nurse practitioner, check with anybody you can think of, your physician, pharmacist, acupuncturist, or herbalist to see if there's any contraindications or cautions. Now, Goji Zi, and Zi is the word that means it's either a seed or a fruit. And it's fructus lycae in the taxonomic consideration, or it's also called goji berries. And the qualities of this herb are sweet and neutral. And it enters the lung, liver, and kidney meridians. And the biggie quality of this is that it nourishes liver and kidney yin and blood deficiency. And it also aids the essence. If you'll remember me talking about those fluids, essence is called jin in Chinese medicine. Now, the big one in that happens to us all, and I'm certainly in that category, is liver blood nourishes the eyes. Now, this has no relevance in Western medicine, but I can tell you therapeutically, it has a lot to do with vision. And if you have liver blood and liver yin deficiency, your vision isn't as good. So this is wonderful for helping with that. And another thing that this does, which definitely happens as we get older, basically due to liver and kidney yin deficiency and liver and kidney blood deficiency, is low back and knee pain. And we all know what that's like. So this is really good for that. Now, there's a part of the plant that really isn't part of the health food superfood market, but it is used in traditional Chinese medicine, and it's called digu pi. And this is the bark of the root of this plant. And it's sweet, slightly bitter, and cold, and it goes into the same meridians, liver, kidney, and lung meridians. And this is really good for clearing deficiency heat, clearing lung fire, and cooling the blood. And so this is really good for things that have tidal fever. And actually, if you have malaria, that's part of the progression of the disease. You get a lot of fever that comes in waves. It also is good for toothaches and diabetes due to yin deficiency, and cough due to lung heat, and also bleeding due to blood heat. And again, it's really good to get a total workup from a licensed acupuncturist who is very proficient in these diagnoses and can help you create a formula just for you. Now, the modern uses of goji really are, especially not the root bark for obvious reasons, is really seen as a superfood. So this isn't something that your physician will say, go out and get some goji capsules. It's usually considered, and especially in the market, it's really considered as a superfood, which means that it's packed with antioxidants and fiber. Anything that has a lot of antioxidants and fiber is considered a superfood. It's promoted to protect eyes. Anything that has a lot of antioxidants, anything that antioxidants do, which is a lot, um, a superfood will do, and obviously goji berry is there. There are studies that say it promotes a feeling of well-being and calmness, better athletic performance. If when this video posts, there are all the competitions to get into the Paris Olympics, and I'm watching Simone Biles defy gravity, and I often wonder if she does goji berry juice. I can't say that if you and I would do goji berries, we would be able to defy gravity like Simone Biles. But it will help improve athletic performance, and you can pass your drug tests. Promotes better sleep. There are studies that say the berries in particular help with weight loss. And again, I think that's really due to the fiber content. Antioxidants boost the immune system. And the biggie, which I think is really interesting, is it prevents macular degeneration. Because in Chinese medicine, goji nourishes liver blood, which is related to eyesight. And we know that goji improves visions. Now, gojis are in everything these days. As I said, it's the oat brand of the new millennium. They're in granolas, they're in little sugar-free, high fiber, square, which is basically candy that's made with lots of seeds. And you usually can find goji berries thrown in there for good measure. You can also get the juice, and there's certain like frozen yogurt bars that have goji ice, frozen yogurt, things like that. Now, goji berries are called superfoods because they contain various chemical compounds called phytochemicals. And the ones in goji berries are polysaccharides, beta carotene, and zeaxanthin. I may not be saying that properly, sorry. But for those of you who take lots of supplements or like walking down the aisle of your health food store section in your pharmacy, you'll probably recognize some of those Scrabble words I just uttered, especially beta carotene, which is provitamin A. It's a water-soluble form of vitamin A that helps the body generate it. Vitamin A, straight vitamin A, is not necessarily safe in high levels. It can do liver damage, and you're not supposed to do that when you're pregnant, things like that. But beta carotene is very, very safe. And zeaxanthin, zeaxanthin, which is sold separately for all sorts of things like eye health and so on. And now those are very high in goji berries, and they're all together, so you have to buy separate supplements. Now, polysaccharides are a primary characteristic of goji berry, and these basically are the source of dietary fiber. And study using aging mice. So I don't know if they went to mice rest homes and had these mice volunteer for the study. But anyways, they found that by feeding goji berries to these old mice, it improved function and increased total antioxidant activity in the body. Now, oxidation is a fancy word for the chemical process in life, on Earth, that means things breaking down. If something oxidizes, it breaks down. And rust, for metals is oxidation. So is your silver turning black. That's oxidizing. Well, you really don't want this to happen in your body, which is why anti-oxidation is the goal. And antioxidants found mostly in fruits and vegetables are so important. And they prevent the breakdown of various structures in the body. Now, you don't necessarily rust in your body, but you do certain things break down. So antioxidants are the thing that stops that. Now, beta carotene is responsible for the beautiful orange-red pigment in goji berries. I'd like to see a fingernail polish or lipstick named Goji Berries. I think that would be really pretty to wear because the color is so neat. And beta carotene is vital for eye health, bone health, skin health, and cell development. And beta carotene is the highest level in all edible plants in goji berries. So there you go. Now, zeaxanthin, I think that's how you pronounce that, plays a crucial role in supporting the immune system. And lots of studies illustrate that zeaxanthin can prevent macular degeneration. So there you go, liver blood deficiency, macular degeneration, take your goji and you're good to go. So this is the chemical that nourishes liver blood in the eyes. And again, there's all these wonderful constituents in plants and that you cannot trademark plants. They're trying, but you can't. GMO plants are trademarked. So if you grow them without buying them, you can get sued for copyright infringement. But so what sometimes pharmaceutical companies want to do is they isolate certain constituents and then they sell them as isolated things. And then you get all sorts of undesired side effects. And this was a big hoo-ha, I would say 20 years ago, where all of a sudden, if you take beta carotene, you'll get lung cancer. And it really is the isolated substance, whereas in a plant, everything's balanced out. So this is a plug for taking it in natural form with all sorts of other things, like in goji berry, and then you don't seem to have those problems. Now, there are all kinds of ways to take goji berries medicinally if you want. You can take it in tea. And one of the best ways to do that is actually with the extract powder. So it's kind of like instant coffee, but instant goji berry tea. If you want to do the berries, it's about a tablespoon of berries per cup of boiling hot water. You can boil it for about 5 minutes and then let it steep for a while. And then you can drink the tea, but I also say eat those berries because you'll get the fiber. You can also get it in pill form and in juice. I've never seen it in tincture form, but the juice is available. And I usually recommend, if you're wanting a therapeutic dose, that 2 tablespoons of dried berries per day is a good base level. Obviously, if you want to eat more than that, go for it. But that's a good base level, or 2 ounces of juice per day, sort of like your shot glass. And you can drink that straight if you want. You can put it in a glass of water, to break it down, or just throw it in your smoothie, however you want to do that. But that's basically your baseline therapeutic dose. Now, the juice is a bit expensive and it can rack up your food bill if you guzzle a bottle a day. I mean, the last time, well, that was several years ago because I'm in Eastern Europe now, and I've never seen this on the market. I'm sure it's available, but I've never seen it. I've seen goji berries everywhere. but the juice, and back then it was like $12 for a small bottle. So that can certainly add up. Um, but I really suggest eating the berries because they do have a lot of fiber, and fiber is a good thing to eat for all sorts of reasons, especially with healthy digestion. The fiber, and again, there's all these funky supplements that you can take, like pre-probiotics and blah, blah, blah. And it's basically, if you have fiber in your digestive system, then the probiotics or the good bacteria grow on those. So why not just eat fiber, like in fruit, things like that? So the fiber helps with healthy digestion, healthy bowel function, and it also, fiber helps even out blood sugar. So just eat things. And goji berries are yummy, I personally think. Now, there are, as with everything, certain cautions. And the big one is that goji berries may inhibit the metabolism of certain drugs, either by inhibiting or potentiating drugs. And you don't really want either. Why do you go to all this bother to get, a prescription and expense of drugs if you want to cancel them out by a tablespoonful of goji berries? And you also don't want things potentiated because that's not a good thing either. So check with your pharmacist, physician, whoever gives you prescription meds. Sometimes it's a physician assistant or nurse practitioner. If you're on medications for diabetes, hypertension, or for blood thinning, usually blood thinning drugs are given to people who are prone to heart attacks or after a heart attack or a stroke. And you don't want to do goji berries if you're on, especially the drug warfarin. And I feel badly for people who are on those types of drugs because you can't eat fruits or vegetables and all kinds of things. It's not a pleasant thing. So don't go to all that trouble and then make it worse or cancel it out by goji berries. And the other biggie thing is, if you, let's say you eat a handful of goji berries and you break out in welts, it's not the goji berries, it's the sulfur that's used to treat and preserve the goji berries. And unfortunately, this is often the case with herbs, specifically all herbs, but specifically herbs from Asia that come into Western Europe and North America, South America, and they have a lot of sulfur on them because that's a good preservative. And so this is why it's really important to know your sources, where are they from, what are they treated with, all those good things. And there are lots of wonderful options, organic and things. Goji berries are, pretty easy to grow. So you have certain options available to you. Now, goji berries are wonderful to grow in your garden. They work well in containers if you want to do that. Let's say you live in an area that's really cold and frigid in the winter. You can bring it inside during the winter. There's all kinds of online sources, nurseries, etc. Now, I'm also recommending that wonderful book that every medicinal herb gardener should have a hard copy of. It's called The Chinese Medicinal Herb Farm by Peg Schaefer. And I have a link in the program notes. And it's available through Chelsea Green Publishing in the UK, which has North American affiliates. And if you go to their sites, which I said is the link in the program notes for details, it's just such a wonderful, I basically go there. I guess you could call this herb porn. I look at the books and I lust after them. Luckily, I do have a copy of this in my personal library. And Chelsea Green has all sorts of books on gardening and homesteading. I caution you, you may want to buy every volume they sell. So you've been warned, but I also have a link in the program notes on how to grow goji in your garden. It's a lovely plant and the berries are really pretty when they're ripe. So however you want to incorporate this incredible plant into your life, in your smoothies or granola and herbal formulas or in your garden, goji berries are a healing, delicious gift from nature that has something for everyone. This is Stephanie Georgia saying thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me. Make sure to check out the links in the program notes. And until next time, be well.